These are in listen-only mode.
So the webinar, now that you can hear me, is So firstly, I'm going to start with showing you how to access your insights report and how to use the information that it provides you with. And then I'm going to show you how to create a customized insight report. So this can be based on a segmented group of your community. I'll then go over how to view stats and insights about a source, such as your competitor's account. And then I'm going to finish with going over two of our newer tools, which are accounts comparison and the benchmark tools, which provide you with more stats to help you create and improve your Twitter marketing strategy. So let's get started. And I'll go over to my dashboard for the second time. Right, here we are. So as I said, SocialBro provides you with stats and insights about the members of your community or the whole of Twitter or your competitors' community, members of a list, etc. So these are really useful for helping you to target and engage with users. So you can view the stats about your own community in the default insights report, which is created for you by SocialBro, by selecting insights from the toolbar here. And then when you've got your default insights report here, select view report. At the top of the page here, you can then switch between the different members of your community depending on what you're using the report for. So, for example, your followers, your friends, or your community in general. So if you're using the Insights report to design the tweets you're going to send out to perhaps target and engage users, remember that only people that follow you can see your tweets, so therefore it'd be useful to select followers. On the other hand, you might be using your insights report to find ways you can clean up your community. And so there it would be beneficial to view insights about the people you're following, which is your friends. So I'll just select followers for now, but I'll give examples from how you can use it for friends as well. So I'll now go through the insights report and just show you how you can use the information provided for you. So your languages chart is the top one here. And this just shows you the languages spoken by your followers. So if you're a global company or you sell your product in two countries, it's useful to know which percentage of your followers speak which language. So when you're sending out tweets, or you could notice that a large amount of your users' first language is different to one you use. So it might be worth altering your content to fit the needs of your followers. So your next chart here, you have time zones, useful for when you create your best time to tweet report. You can choose which time zone you want it to apply to. The next few charts you have here are an indication of who forms your community and the quality of it. So users who actively use Twitter will tend to have a custom avatar, especially if you're a professional user, you wouldn't have the default one. So ideally, you would want to have the larger percent of your followers and your friends with a custom avatar. Default avatars could indicate a fake profile, they could indicate spammers or just inactive users. So it's definitely something to take into account when you're looking to clean up your community. So say, for example, if this was about my friends, you could select default from here to display all of the users who have a default avatar. And you could then filter within them according to maybe how influential they are, number of followers. You can also change, these are displayed in the order of how many followers they have. So I might want to look at which people am I following that have a default avatar and don't have many followers. I can use this arrow here to change the order, and I could then select users I want to unfollow. Now I'm not following these people at the moment, but if I was, I could just select some like this, or I could drag and drop a box over multiple users, and then from the bottom navigation bar, I can select unfollow. And that's just an idea of how you can clean up your community. So I'll just go back to the insights report and back to where we were. So URLs. So the percentage of followers with a URL in their bio is particularly useful for business-to-business companies, as professionals will tend to have a link to their website, to their blog, to their LinkedIn profiles, etc. So if you were trying to target just businesses, And professional users, ideally you would have the larger percent of users with a URL in their bio. And similarly to that, professional users don't tend to have a private profile, as this really limits your reach on Twitter because you can't be retweeted and people can't browse their profile without being accepted as a follower. So next you have verified users. So these this chart is showing you which of your followers are verified. So these tend to be celebrities or big brands, and they're very influential. So they're really key when they're helping you to spread your reach. So it's really useful to know if you have any. So the same as I just showed with the avatar, you might choose to click that section of the graph. So these here are my verified users. And from here, I might choose to follow any that I'm not. So I could select one like this, or multiple, sorry, select follow. Or you could use one of our newer functions, which is whitelist. So you can see here that this little green padlock is in some of these users' profiles. Now, whitelist allows you to add people to a list and mean like your important contacts. And in the future, this prevents you from ever unfollowing them by accident. So to add any users to your whitelist, you can just select them like so, and then just as you did with following, add them to your whitelist. And now they're protected from being unfollowed. So I'll just go back to the dashboard again, the insights report. So next you have your gender chart. This shows the percentage of males and females following you. Also helps when you're forming your strategy. For example, if you find that a large amount of males follow you and you only target females, you know that you can change your strategy a bit. And just to point out that unknown are usually brands or those who have names that can't be distinguished between. So the next few graphs, they show an indication of your reach on Twitter, so meaning the potential that your tweets and content has to be viewed by people outside of your community. So this graph shows the number of followers your followers have. When people retweet you, these tweets will appear on the home pages belonging to their followers. Therefore, the more followers they have, the larger your potential reach is. The number of friends they have is interesting, as the more friends they have, this means the more people's tweets are going to appear on their timeline, and therefore the less chance there is that they will see everything that their friends post. Professional Twitter users who have a very large amount of friends will tend to use Twitter lists as a way of monitoring what specific people are talking about on Twitter, so they may not see your tweets. The followers to friends ratio gives an indication of how influential your followers are. So a ratio of 1 indicates that they're following the same amount of people that are following them. And a high ratio suggests that users find them interesting and want to hear what they have to say, meaning they're very influential and people are going to pay attention to the tweets that they're tweeting and your stuff that's being retweeted. So the next two charts show you how active your community is. And now you obviously want an active community, as these users are more likely to reply to your tweets. And as I said before, spread your reach with retweets. If your charts indicate you have a lot of users who, say, haven't tweeted in over a year, this may be another way to clean up your community if these are the people you're following, how I showed you earlier. On the other side of this, users who tweet too many times could be spammers or noisy users who will fill up your timeline if you're following them. So next you have a location map, which shows the locations of your followers and gives you ideas of who you should be targeting that perhaps you're not doing so already. So you can hover over any part of the map to see how many followers you have from that country. And then below this, you have location tag clouds, where you can click on any of these to display all of your followers from that place. So for example, I could select Madrid, and then from here, I might choose that I want to follow all my followers from Madrid. I might search within them to find ones that work in social media. I could then choose to add them to a list, or perhaps use one of our newer tools, Twitter DM campaigns, to maybe send them a direct message inviting them for a meetup or something like that. And then Lastly, on the insights report is your bio tag clouds. So these are one of the most useful parts, in my opinion, of the insights report, as they display the most repeated words used by members of your community. So indicates their professions, their interests, etc. And these are extremely useful for designing the ways you might want to engage with them in a personalised way. So you can also indicate that you're targeting the right people, because if, for example, you're a marketing agency, you would look to have followers that have the relevant words in their bios, so marketing, media, social, internet, etc. And again, just as you did with the location tag clouds, you can click on any of these to see which users have this word in their bio, and then filter within them. You can add them to a list, follow them, etc. So that was your insights report that was created by default. And you can use that to see who formed your community, see areas where you might need to change how you're targeting users and things like that. So I'm now going to quickly show you how to create a custom insights report. So for example, you may wish to view stats just about a select group of users. So to do that, you can select so followers, friends, or community from your dashboard, but I'll select followers. And then you can use the filters to select which users you want to find out insights about. So, for example, I might choose that I want them to be from London and perform that search. And then I could also say that perhaps I want them to have social media in their bio. And then you could apply any other filters that you wish to. So you might want them to be active on Twitter or have a lot of followers, etc. And then you can, from down here in the bottom navigation bar, select Insights Report. And then here you can choose what you want to be shown in your report. So you give it a title. And then, for example, I might want to see if they have custom avatars. I might want to know their gender, how many followers they have, their locations, etc. And then just select Create. And you'll have to wait for the report to generate. Depending on the size, how many people are in the report, it could take a while. And then once you've done that, you can, just as you did with the report, the default report, you'll have the same stats, but just for the chosen stats you've chosen. So other than your community, you can also create an insights report for other sources. So to create one for your competitors' community, as an example, it's really easy. All you have to do is select Analyze Your Competitors from the toolbar, insert the Twitter handle of the competitor you want to analyze. So for example, this is another app that we used to run, and then just select Add. And once it's finished synchronizing, you can access it from the Sources menu here. And just as you've viewed your own Insights report, all you have to do is select Insights, View Report, and here you have the stats for your competitor. So really easy to create. Now, as well as being able to see these stats about your competitor's account, you can also view these stats on the same chart as your own with one of our newest tools, which is the accounts comparison. So to use this tool, just as I showed you by selecting Analyze Your Competitors and inserting their Twitter handle, you have to do that with the accounts you wish to use this tool for. So when you can basically analyze 3 accounts in the same chart, and it doesn't have to be your own account, but make sure you've added them as a source, and so that you can see them in the sources menu here. So I just didn't explain that very well. I'm going to go through it now anyway. So select accounts comparison from the toolbar and insert the name of the 3 accounts you wish to analyze. So if I want to do SocialBro, this one, and Javier, and select compare. Right, and then you'll have a page which looks like this, which is showing you the stats that you just had about your account and your competitors separate, but put together. So at the top here, you have a breakdown showing the number of followers, friends, community, etc. of the three accounts. So useful information for showing you, for example, how active you are compared to your competitors. So how many tweets you send, how many tweets they send. You can compare your followers to friend ratio, number of followers, etc. So then you have the account comparison, which is comparing the numbers of your three communities, and you can hold your cursor over any point in the graph to get the exact numbers to compare the three accounts. Next, you have the community intersections graph, which shows you the number of common followers, friends, and community that exist between the three accounts. So you can hold your cursor again over any different part to see detailed information. So for example, here it's showing the common followers between SocialBro and FollowFriday.com. And then here it will be between SocialBro and Javier, and then you can get the information for all three. This is can be an indication of if you're targeting the right people on Twitter. So, for example, if your two competitors have a large amount of the same followers and you don't, it might be an idea that you need to start targeting their followers. And we also, by the way, have in our user guide a step-by-step on how to follow your competitors' followers, which is really useful for targeting. So if we scroll down now, you can see the stats that you've already viewed about your own account and your competitor's account, but on the same charts. So they allow you to compare the quality of your communities, the activity, and just who makes up three communities in general. So, for example, you can compare your potential reach, so comparing how many followers all three communities' followers have. You can compare how active your communities are with the time since last tweet and the tweets per day. And then you can also here compare your bio tag clouds. So for example, to see that your followers all have things in common, which they should do with your competitors. Or you can get ideas here of how to target potential followers. So that was the account comparison tool. And I'm now going to go over our last tool, which is benchmark. So benchmark is different from account comparison as it allows you to compare the growth of your Twitter account against your industry peers. So by that I mean those whose accounts are of a similar age, size and industry to your own. So useful for seeing how similar businesses are performing compared to yourself. When you're analysing a competitor's account, it's obviously really useful for the stats it provides you, but they might be a lot larger company than you. They might have been around a lot longer, so therefore their Twitter accounts might be a lot bigger. They might have a lot more followers, and they might be a lot more influential, but that's not because of anything bad you've done. You're just newer or smaller than them. So if you select benchmark from the toolbar, and here you can see the progress of your account compared to similar users. So up here, SocialBro has automatically detected which industry they think you fit into, depending on your bio. But if it's wrong, you can just change that here. And then, so here's the growth in the number of followers. To switch between followers, friends, lists, tweets, you just select View Chart, like so. And you can do that for all of those. So giving you an idea basically of how you're performing compared to similar accounts gives you an idea of what you might need to be doing differently, such as if you need to be gaining more followers or becoming more active, for example, by posting more tweets. And then quickly, I'll just finish now with the influence. So here you can see the influence compared to the similar accounts to your own. So for example, if you found that your influence score was a lot lower than your industry peers, then it's an idea that you might want to try and gain more retweets and replies, post more tweets, make use of tools such as the best time to tweet report to really optimize your tweets and make sure they're aimed at the right people, all of which are going to increase your influence. So I think that just about sums up everything for today. Apologies again for the mistake I made earlier. And next week, Letitia will be holding our Getting Started with SocialBro webinar in Spanish. And the week after, which is the 22nd, I'll be holding our next workshop, which is going to cover discovering Twitter users to target and engage with. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you later. Bye.